Hi everyone, and welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be doing some drawings, so you're going to want a nice white piece of paper. And if you want to start with pencil, you can start with a pencil. I'm going to dive right in and use a crayon so that you can see it a little better. If you choose to start with pencil, you'll still want a black crayon to outline or trace over your pencil marks. Alright, let's go ahead and get started today. We're going to be working on proportions and placement and size on our paper, and that also might involve some overlapping. I'm going to be using pumpkins today. If you look at your Davis Digital textbooks, you're using people. So if you choose to do people instead, or if there's something else you'd like to use instead of a pumpkin, that's fine. That's what I chose to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to draw a large pumpkin towards the bottom of my paper. And how I draw pumpkins kind of changes or varies. One way to draw one is to draw like a C and a backward C. And I left some space in between. And then I need to connect those, so I'm going to do some curvy or wavy W's that go across to connect that. On the top, I'm going to do the same but kind of opposite. This one's going to be more of an M. So that upside down curvy or wavy to connect the top. I'm going to give my pumpkin a stem, kind of curve up, over, and back down, kind of like I'm drawing a little volcano or a tree stump. There's some other details I'm going to add to this pumpkin, but I'm going to go ahead and draw my second pumpkin. This one is going to be smaller and more towards the center of my paper. Draw it over here. If you didn't like how I drew a pumpkin before, you can also draw it as one piece. It curves up, kind of like you would draw a cloud, and back up. Add my stem. There's different ways you can draw pumpkins too. Maybe I'm going to draw an even bigger one here in the foreground. I'll show you that here. I'm going to make a small pumpkin out, back, away. I know it's further back because it's now smaller. It's closer to the top of my paper. And I have these nice 3 pumpkins. If you want to add other pumpkins, you could draw one that is not quite showing, so it kind of like falls off the side of my paper. So I might just see the top of it. Change my stem a little bit too. Some variety. And now I have 4 pumpkins, and they're kind of disappearing, backing away on my paper. Something that can help me so we don't have floating pumpkins, I can draw in a horizon line, and that could be wavy or bumpy or hilly. I have that little pumpkin sitting on there. Draw in another line. There's some overlapping. Notice that I didn't draw it there. There's some sitting on this horizon. Back away so I have some hills. And I have these pumpkins kind of growing in this hilly pumpkin patch. I'm going to add some more details. So if I want to curve in and do some vines, maybe they're still attached to the plants. Have more overlapping, some more curvy lines on the farm. Vines over on this one. You might even see some very small curvy vines in the background. Leaves are also nice to add to your vines. Maybe they kind of go out ziggy-zag, ziggy-zag, ziggy-zag. To add some more details in the stems, maybe some nice lines like I would on a tree. I may not see them in that itty-bitty pumpkin way back there. It might still be kind of blurry. It's off in the distance. And you don't have to do as many as I did. 3 is kind of a good number so that you can see the proportions and the difference in size and placement on your page and the overlapping. I saved this for last. If you want to add faces to your pumpkins, more like jack-o'-lanterns, you can. I'm going to do one in the front here. You can see it really nice. Shapes like triangles and circles and squares and rectangles make great faces for pumpkins. I use that castle line and a curvy. And I can draw my line down. Maybe someone came out here and there was pumpkin in the pumpkin patch. This front one, because I can only see half of it, you might just see some nice big glowing eyeballs kind of going off the page. I'm going to draw my lines down there. This one's getting kind of small, but I can still draw a face on here. Maybe circles this time and a square nose. And maybe he's kind of shocked. He's a surprise pumpkin. This way, and this itty bitty one back here, you might see just a little bit of that face. With those wavies and curvies back there too. If you want to add other details, go ahead. If you want to make it more of this fall scene, if you don't want faces, don't put faces on there. You could add things like a moon. I'm going to do a crescent moon in the background. You could add in things like clouds, or you might add in like a bat. Some curvies, make a nice bat in the background. There's so many different things you can add to this scene. We're more focused on our proportions though. You have little ghosts, you can have little candies or fences, grass. I got some grass kind of growing up in here. And I kind of have this farm. Keep in mind, I'm going to draw my bigger piece of grass forward so I know this is the front or the foreground of my paper. And then if I'm drawing grass way back here by this itty bitty pumpkin, it might just look like these little sticks sticking out. And there you have my proportion kind of fall scene drawing, and then you can see those big, medium, small, and where I put things on my paper, the placement, the size, the variety. That overlapping really helps with space in art, and my proportions of how big these objects are to each other. Draw this out here too. My moon's smaller, it's further away. My pumpkins are larger in proportion. Alright, if you're done drawing, I am going to paint this, but I'm going to do it in a separate video. So if you would like to add color to this in a different type of medium, if you want to color it with crayons, markers, color pencils, go for it. I'll be using watercolor. I can't wait to see all your creations and your fall scenes. Have a great day.